Have you ever noticed that there are just some websites that show up all the time, everywhere on Google or in ChatGPT? They're just there. And although you've looked at their website, you've looked at their content, nothing seems out of the usual. It doesn't seem like there's some secret content creation strategy that they're using that you're not. Instead, it's this collaboration that is usually underutilized called guest blogging. So guest blogging is how business owners like you and me who are online and have websites expand their reach while building those oh so good backlinks that Google loves. Hi, hello, I'm Michaela. I'm an SEO strategist and blog content writer. And today I'm going to give you these blog writing and SEO tips that are going to get your content to rank higher, even if you're just starting out. And if you just want to make guest blogging easier, go down to the description of this video, download my free complete guide to guest posting, and get more eyes on your offers and products. All right, so let's get straight into it. So tip number 1 is going to be focusing on the right sites to publish on. There is thousands, if not millions, of websites online that are accepting guest posts, and even some that are not, that are willing to accept yours. Now, part of having a good backlink is finding the right website. Not every website is going to be good for your business. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. If you pick the wrong website, you can actually end up hurting your SEO. When you are looking for a website to pitch your post on, you want to find one that is specific to your niche or industry. You want to make sure it has a domain authority equal to or higher than yours, and you can use an SEO tool like Moz or SEMrush, and I think even Mangles, to look at your domain authority and look at their domain authority and compare the two. You also want to make sure that they've been active recently. Check their blog to see if they published a recent post in the last 6 to 9 months. People go through periods of slow times, slow seasons, and their energy is elsewhere. So even if they're not active on their blog, they may be active on social media or on LinkedIn or YouTube, anywhere else. So just make sure that it's been 6 to 9 months. Don't stress it if it's only been 3 months and they haven't posted anything. You also want to make sure that they do not look or sound spammy. Avoid spammy websites. You do not want to be associated with them. And for my last thing, you want to make sure they have an audience that actually aligns with yours. So make sure that they serve a similar, if not identical audience, just in a different way, so that you're both bringing value, but also connecting with the right people. Remember that a single backlink from a relevant, trusted site that is aligned with yours can do so much more for your SEO than dozens or even hundreds of low quality backlinks from other sources. All right, next, number 2 on our list of 5, it's going to be lead with value and not promotion. Yes, we are trying to show our offers, our freebies, what we do, and we want to make the most of this content, but you have to think about the user, the reader, the person who is going to consume this content, because if you write it with promotion, it's going to sound like a sales page. And first of all, that website that you're posting on is not going to like that. They may not even publish it, depending on what their rules are. And it's unlikely that you're actually going to have any conversions because this is a cold audience and they're going to a blog to be educated in some way, shape, or form. And if you lead with promotion and you are trying to sell, they're not going to have any sense of connection with you and go to your website and that's the goal here. Instead of just selling, we want them to click through, learn more about you, learn more about your offers, learn more about your website, your business, what you're about, not so much just making the sale. And I'm not saying you can't list your experience or your expertise, but there are natural ways to include that in a nurturing, educating post versus just saying, I have XYZ expertise, you should hire me. So tip number 3, it's all in the pitch. And when I say it's all in the pitch, it really is on the pitch. A good guest posting pitch can get you so far. It's the same with podcast pitches almost. Like when you lead with a genuine want or need to help or expand on a topic for somebody's audience, it's so much better than if you send an email pitch that is literally, I want to publish a high quality guest post on your website. Does this sound good to you? And yes, I have had pitches come to my own website that sound just like that. And I'll actually do an entire video on it because I've had so many bad pitches and I can tell you exactly what you need to do to land the guest post on the right websites. But remember that your pitch is your first impression, so you want to make sure it counts. Avoid the generic templates, just like I was just talking about, and make sure it does not scream mass email, I've sent this to everyone. So instead, you're going to make sure you're mentioning specifics about their website and their audience. If they're active on social media, say, I found you here, I found you there. Make sure you've made that connection. Not, I was just looking for somewhere to put a guest blog post, unless they are actually actively accepting guest blog posts, because there are websites that actively accept guest blog posts and you can pitch whenever, and they are very welcoming to pitches, but you can pitch people who are not actively, unless they say, please do not pitch me a guest blog post. Please listen, because they're just going to be annoyed. They're not going to think it's value-based. It's just going to be annoyance. All right. So next, I want you to make sure that you're explaining why their audience would benefit from your topic, not just why you would benefit from being in front of their audience, but why this actually matters, how it even connects to what they do, and how it would bring value to their people. Afterwards, you're going to share your credentials briefly. Again, don't make this all about you. We're making this about them and their audience and what you can do for them. But you do want to say that, hey, I am a trusted source. I'm a trusted resource. Use me, share me. Like, I am here to serve your people, and I'm not spitting nonsense. I know what I'm talking about. Next, I would recommend proposing 2 to 3 ideas. It doesn't have to be super in-depth to say, hey, I was thinking that this XYZ topic would be great, and if not, that I think this would also be a really good one. And even bring in part of their own previous pieces of content to tie that into and say, hey, I saw you wrote a blog post about this. I would love to bring it even further and write about XYZ. Or even in your own industry, you could say, oh, I see that you've been talking about guest blogging, but it's not something that you do. Or I see that you design websites on Show It and you mention SEO, but SEO is just not what you do. I would love to write a post that would go more in depth and serve as almost a checklist for your audience that would tie nicely into this, or would serve as an additional resource for this. That is bringing the value to their people and not bringing it about you. Finally, and this is specific to ones that are actively accepting guest posts, but you want to make sure you follow their submission guidelines exactly. If they have guidelines, you need to follow them. You need to listen. You need to show that you are actually paying attention and that you care about what they've put on that page. They put it on there for a reason. So follow them to a T. And if it's something you don't want to do, so say like they're asking you to submit the post, maybe that's just not the opportunity that you need to take advantage of, and that is okay. That is perfectly okay. You do not need to apply for every guest post out there. 1 or 2 every quarter, 1 a year can help you grow your SEO. And then remember to follow up if you don't hear back, but do not become a nuisance with multiple follow-ups. They may not be interested and they just don't feel like they need to justify it. And that can even come from a bad pitch. Normally, if it is a genuine thing and you're coming from a good place, you will get a response back that says, hey, I'm just not accepting posts right now, but thank you for reaching out. Most people are nice. They are, unless you were coming from a place of, I'm selling to your people. So just take that into consideration and don't get offended if they do not respond. They may be busy. They may have never seen it. They may have 1,000 emails in their inbox. You may have gone to spam, or you may have gone to promotions. Like, you don't know, so don't take it personally and just move on in your strategy. Also, finally, on the pitching portion, never copy paste a pitch. You can follow a template, you can follow a guideline, but do not copy paste a pitch. Thank you. Anyway, so just a little question for you, but now before I move on, I would love to know if you've ever received one of those like sketchy pitches in your email and you're like, why is this here? I know I do, so I'm just curious if that's like a common experience. Just say yes or no in the comment section below. I'm just super curious because I get them all the time. I'm not gonna lie. All right, now number 4 in these 5 guest blogging tips is going to be optimize your author bio. Normally you are limited on the backlinks that you can provide, so a lot of it is going to be in your author bio. And there are some times that if you're doing a more personal guest blog post, so if you're doing it with a business friend or a more unprofessional writer, they're going to allow you to introduce yourself in the post, which is a lot of fun. I think it is a lot of fun. But some of us, that does not go with our brand guidelines. Like, introducing personally being fun in that sense just doesn't make sense for your business, or doesn't make sense for their business, and that's okay. So normally you'll have an author bio. And I always say, give that thing a little bit of TLC. And the reason why is because you need it to be something that people read and say, oh, I like that person, or, oh, I feel that, or that makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? So your bio should be concise but compelling. You should establish your authority in your niche. So if you have some expertise or experience, certifications, you can add those in there. You want to include a clear call to action, even if it's like a more casual call to action, whether that's going to your website or going to your offer, going to book a free discovery call. It depends on what the website allows you to put in there, but whatever it happens to be, just make sure it's a clear next step. And then make sure that you're linking to your homepage or a relevant landing page. Again, that will be up to the website that you're guest posting on. Some allow you to do an offer, a discovery call page, or some are like, nope, just link to your website homepage and that is it. Also, bonus points for your bio, use UTMs, which are tracking for Google Analytics, and put that in your bio where you link your website so you can more accurately track your post performance and how many people come through to your website from that specific referring page. And I'll do more videos on UTMs in the future, but that's a good little add-in right there. So finally, our tip number 5 is be strategic in your backlinks. The whole reason guest posting works for SEO is because it is building you quality backlinks, and backlinks matter. The better the backlink, the more it improves your SEO. When writing your guest post, you want to make sure you're strategically linking back to relevant content where it makes sense. And this is also going to be dependent on the website you're writing for. Most will limit you to 1 to 2 backlinks per post, and that's fine. Just make the best use of them. So what you're going to do is whatever piece of content or page on your website makes the most sense for the content you're writing, that's what you're going to link to. And you're going to make sure that the text that you are linking it from makes sense for the post. So for example, if you're writing about social media strategy, link the phrase Instagram growth tactics or Instagram growth strategy to maybe a comprehensive guide that you have on the topic. That would be the best use of that. So that's going to give you a better little oomph and being trusted than linking it somewhere else or just linking it for the word Instagram or something like that. This helps Google both understand what your content is about and improve your chances for ranking for those specific keywords. All right. Now that you have your 5 tips for guest blogging, I hope you take those, use those, go ahead and write a post or 2 or pitch a post or 2. And if you're not sure where to go to pitch your first or next guest post, go ahead and check out my guest post directory. It includes over 400 websites that are actively seeking guest posts across various niches. I do have everything sorted out by topic, word count, domain authority, just so you can search the perfect opportunity without having to scroll through hundreds of pages on Google. Just click the link in the description below to check it out and get lifetime access if you so choose to. But that wraps up our 5 guest blogging tips that actually improve your SEO. If you found this helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more sustainable and actionable SEO strategies. And if you want to learn more about guest blogging, I do have other videos on the topic, which I think are in this playlist. As my last little ask for you, go ahead and share your biggest guest blogging challenge in the comments below. I read every comment and I would love to help you out and get you started on this super easy, lazy girl SEO strategy that I have used for years. But until next time, talk soon. Bye.